Welcome to a new video. Grabbing my Arizona out of the fridge. Yeah, so very unfortunate thing yesterday. I welded those things on backwards. So today, we're doing the same thing we did yesterday. We were grinding them off. But this time, we have to flip them around the other way and weld them off. How the heck I missed that? Yesterday was a rough day. If you guys didn't see that, check that video out. But yeah, it was a long and rough, and anything that could go wrong went wrong yesterday, it seemed like. So today I am doing the same thing. It is an absolutely beautiful day outside today, though. Almost makes you want to go out and do some field work, but you got to remind yourself that we just got 3 1/4 inches of rain over the weekend, and it is nowhere near possible to go out and do anything except get stuck. That's about the only thing you're going to do, and do well, I think. These are off and loose again, so everything's ground down, ready to be re-welded for the 3rd time. And this stuff, the gussets are laying over here. They're cooling down. They're a little hot to the touch. So I figured while I was waiting on them, I'd put this wheel on. So I got the bolts started. They screw in each side, but the hub can spin while you tighten them, so it's kind of tricky. I'm not sure exactly how to explain how to do this, but I'm just going to do it and get it over with. Alright, we just got caught up to where we were yesterday. We were all welded back on again. Hopefully the right direction this time. I could shoot it with some paint, and then it'll be all good. And then I will head up to the house. Took about an hour and a half, but I got it done. Video's edited. It's exporting right now. So I'm grabbing my digging tool out of the planting tractor. We're gonna go out and do some field scouting. Could go left and go down that way to our first planted field. You guys saw that short at 14 days of emergence. We're now at 18 days now, and it's pretty consistent now. Everything's out of the ground down there. Dad was just down there about an hour ago, so we're gonna go this way and go back behind my uncle's and check out those fields. Field right back there. If we went straight, jumped that marsh, there's 6 acres there. That's our second to last bean field to get planted this year. So we'll have to get that done when it dries out. It's got to be sprayed first. I think I talked about that in the last video. That field and 14 acres down almost at Dad's house need to be sprayed as well before it gets planted. Yikes. Holy smokes. I have never seen water pooled up like that there before. Why is my truck making a funny noise? Is that my brakes? I don't know what that's all about. Man, I've never seen water there. It's all the way across. That whole waterway is underwater, and it goes all the way over there. That's crazy. Never seen that. But I do know there's a tile running right through there. You guys probably get sick of me talking about tile, but it's one of my biggest aggravations when it comes to our fields is how terrible the tile is. And it's all right here. The water's moving, so that's part of telling me, obviously it's moved all the corn residue over here. But there's a opening in the ditch right over here where the tile dumps. Oi. Wet, wet, wet. Yeah, so there's a tile outlet back in there farther. I know I'm getting distracted. I'm supposed to be scouting beans, but I value learning how our land management works as well. I don't know where the tile outlet's supposed to be, but you can see this is a drainage creek here that is running like crazy. Supposedly this field's pattern tiled. It's not. I know it's not, because if it was, I could look that way and I wouldn't have to look less than 15-20 feet and see a tile outlet, and same direction that way, because typical pattern tiling is done on, back then maybe 50-foot centers, but now it's done on 30, 40 at the max. So I don't see tile outlets anywhere along here. There's one down there farther on the other side of the bridge, but there's like 3 of them maybe in this whole field that I've seen walking this. Yeah, you can see dumping out of the culvert there. That's where we just drove in. My truck's sitting right there. So that's that. Needs some ditch cleaning. This is why I want to own an excavator really bad, is clean this all up. The way I want to do it is I want to tear all these trees out all the way along the creek. That way we can keep this ditch maintained, and then we would put in a 30 or 40-foot buffer strip and run like a grass strip along the edge and mow it for hay or something like that. That's my long-term goal, but I need the equipment to do that and I don't have it at the moment. The little ditch over here is here because I think there's too much fall to hit from there, but I don't know if there's actually a tile in there somewhere or if it's meant to just be surface runoff like it is now. I really can't see. There's no like distinct end to it. There may be a super shallow tile up there, but I don't see anything. That water's got to be 4 foot deep in the middle right there. At least. No way in heck I'm driving my truck through that. We'll have to get the drill out of the barn probably and start spotting in wet spots here when it dries up. But no emergence on this field yet. This is the field we did last, so I'm not expecting them to be up. But yeah, that waterway's all underwater. We can do some digging here. There's a seedling, so they're moving. Yep. But we'll go digging on this one. Maybe if we can get to it. I'm still just in awe on how much water is sitting here right now. Big wet hole over there. Makes me want to walk over there because yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to start recording again once we get to that little tree. So this is already not good. I'm not to the tree yet. This is a water, this has been washed out for quite a while. Every time we get a rain, it washes along here. Obviously, not going to say it, but tile would fix it. We talked about putting a waterway here, but we just started farming around it now, and you can see that is running very big, so that means there's probably quite a lake over here. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought it'd be. By the time fall rolls around, there's never really crops here anyway, so oh my word, it just turns into soup over here. Yeah, it's not terrible. I haven't talked to my conklin guy, but I'm trying to figure out how I would make replant work, because I can't afford to come in here with more fertilizer if I was to plant like these little spots. So my idea right now is to come in with the drill and fill it in with 15-inch beans and plant it on an angle to how it was planted the first time. So whatever beans fall into those areas, they will still suck up that fertilizer that was put out the first time. If it's still there. I mean, the fertilizer's underground. Theoretically, it should still be there. But that's kind of my idea, is to just come in with the drill and fill these wet holes in. How does one get across this? I guess just, that's deeper than it looks. Walk where the residue's at, because if the residue's hanging out, then it's shallow. All right, here we go. Third field planted for 2025. I don't remember when, so don't ask. I'd have to check Agfinity, but somewhere around that April 20th to 25th, maybe? It might have been the 24th. We're gonna come out here, find a row. Gonna be like right in here, which you can see some poking emergence. They're pretty yellow. I would be too from all this rain. So just starting to emerge. It'll get a lot more even emergence here in the coming weeks. There's 3 there under the residue. Some over there. There. So just starting to come up. Beans will scare you. So in my opinion, the way you should run beans, like it looks good here. If you're planting in residue like this, is plant them and don't look at them again for a month, because you'll come out here day 1 of emergence and go, there's one there. There's one 20 feet over there. There's one 30 feet over there. It just looks horrible. As far as bean emergence in residue like this, it always looks horrible. So I don't recommend coming out here in this time frame that we are there. See, like right here where there's no residue, bam, 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 bam. Good emergence. That one got eaten off by something, so that one's gonna die. But yeah, you get good emergence where there's no residue, but residue does affect stuff. That's why I want to watch if I can keep track. The residue's kind of washed back over now, but if I can keep track of where the row cleaner rows are, that helps me determine whether there's an ROI on row cleaners. That does stand out to me as a row cleaner row. So let's walk along this one. We've got a bean there. We've got a couple beans there, so it's not starting out as well. I don't see anything here yet. There's one, oh, moved a clod. There was 3 there, 1 there, couple there. So yeah, it's really hard to keep. And then there's the second one there. I'm not seeing any beans there yet, but so they are early days of emergence here. Oh, look at that. Great emergence, but it's all underwater. So they will probably be dead by tomorrow, I would imagine. It washed all the residue away, all the soil away. So if those were at the same stage as out there, that means we've lost about 1 inch of soil right here. Because, yeah. So that's crazy. Not good. Not good. 30-inch spacing looks really wide when stuff is just emerging. So that is 30 inches from there. Can you see me? From there to there. Crazy wide, but no sense stressing about stuff like this, because stuff like this I can do nothing about in the heat of it. I can't affect the way that water is going to move. I can't affect what it's going to do underneath of it. So there's no sense in worrying about it. What I can do is plan for the future. Like I say, I'm trying to acquire equipment to start doing my own tile work. And in that sense, we can solve problems like this. But in the today, tomorrow, yesterday sort of deal, there's nothing we can do about it. We're going to walk over here, but here's the cover. Walking out into this is currently terminated and in the process of dying. It's got the yellowish hint to it. The Roundup and Enlist is doing its job over here on this side. So we'll walk out. This is going to be extremely hard to find a row in, but we'll try. gonna be, I can't tell if that's a wheel track or a row track. Huh. All right, here's a row. We'll dig here. Oh, look at that. There's emergence right there. Huh. That's cool to see. It's a little early yet. That's why I'm surprised by it. There's another one. They are within a day of emerging. That's incredible. See if I can pull it out. That's what the root mass looks like on them. I feel like I've seen a lot more root mass on my bean germinations this year, but it may just be me. I might not know what I'm thinking, but I don't know. Somebody can answer that in the comments. Is that what you guys see as normal? I don't pay attention to it, and then you start using a new product, and we're using a whole fleet of new products as far as fertility goes, and you see something like that, and you're like, wow, is that what that project, is that product doing that? I don't know. That could be our PGR doing its thing, but at the same time, I know it's 3/4 of an inch off the seed, and I don't think it's going to be accessible to a plant that size yet, but I just don't know. Field's close to close to emergence within a day or two, I would say. The headlands here, I just saw these popping up. Looks good. They're coming. My little baby beans are coming. We may be getting stuck here. Nope, we're good. Nope, we're getting stuck. We're in a lane. Obviously, we don't have the greatest laneways. Now I gotta back into a field and turn around. Should I back into the cover crop field? Is it worth getting stuck to not compact the beans? I think so. We're going back into this side. Yeah, that side's not bad. Alright, we're out of there. Where do we want to go next? I didn't go back to the wheat because I don't want to look at that right now. I don't want to get my truck stuck is the main thing. So we'll look at that another time. This is probably a good little crop scouting session. We don't need to look at anything else. There's only one other field to look at, and that's down at Dad's house. So we'll just head back to the farm now. Dad's house is just gonna have a bunch of water on the field too for me to look at, and I'll be excited about. But we'll go back to the farm, see if Dad's there. I think I just came up with a absolutely revolutionary design or idea to save those little soybean plants we saw floating in the water. And the answer is spreading floor dry with the drone to soak up the water. Let that sink in. Floor dry through the drone. Well, I just talked to my boss a little bit ago, and we've got about 200 acres of soybeans to spray with the drone, so we're going to go out and try and knock as much of that out this afternoon as possible. So you guys are going to be out of the loop for a bit, but I don't know, I might have a clip or two for you guys. Hey guys, it is today Wednesday or Thursday? Thursday. Today's Thursday. We've been out drone spraying yesterday afternoon and this morning, so I'm now back here. It's like 2 o'clock, and when I was pulling in, I saw Dad pulling out. He's taking the old stack hand stacker to the scrapyard, and then I'll catch up with him when he gets back and see what he's up to. Just out here looking at some wheat, and apparently I didn't do a very good job cleaning the drill out, which I swear I did, but I didn't, because that space there shouldn't be any rye to the right of that. That's rye. And you can see right there where there's a different crop growing. Yeah, what a mess. So we'll have to end up combining that strip with the rye. There's no big deal having wheat in the cover crop seed, but it is a big deal having rye in the wheat seed. So we'll have to harvest that as cover crop seed. But this rye is huge. I have not been out here in a couple weeks, or since I put the 28 on the wheat, and you guys saw how tall it was. It was about, that tall, a couple inches. 3 inches maybe. Well, now it's like 3 feet. Yeah, so I gotta get some palisade lined up for this stuff. It's not super thick, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know, it's what I'm given, so I'm not gonna complain about it. We'll see if we can make some test weight on this. I mean, there's thicker spots like that. That's drill overlap though. It's not terrible. It's just, rye doesn't tiller like wheat does, so that's just the way that is. See, if this was a cover crop, I think it's crimpable now. Let's see, will it break? Oh, no, it's not crimpable yet. So yeah, this is about hip high. So 3 feet probably. This side, the wheat, shorter, but wheat is a shorter stature crop anyway. This rye could be 6 feet. It could be about that tall when it's done. I'm supposed to be spraying it with palisade though, so I got to talk to somebody on that. So it might be too late. Might be too late. But it looks like it's got a good stand, so it might not lodge. This hasn't gotten any nitrogen yet, so that could change things. So we'll look. Husky's holding up because there's no weeds in this strip, which is good. Wheat's about knee high, so it's growing. It looks good. It's yellowy in the wet spots, but the rest of the field is nice and dark. Looks like we held on to our tillers. Got a nice thick mat. So, yep, it looks good. This side, our rock harvest is going to be pretty good. That one's always a fun one to plant. You just throw seed to soil contact out the window when it comes to planting this field, or at least this section of this field. You just hope the seed's in the ground when you're done. Still there. A lot smaller than it was yesterday though. Let's see if we can find these rows of beans that were underwater yesterday. Right there. Yeah, it looks like they're dying. I don't know, maybe they'll stay alive long enough. There's a lot of corn residue over here now though. Probably most of it off of that field, some off of this field. That's fine. We got beans up here. Turning green now, so that means they've been out of the ground for a second. I am terrible at keeping everything in frame. Some little cotyledons there. Aside from cleaning in the shop, I got that section of the shop on that side of the van cleaned up. Helped Dad pull his plow up. This is a 7-bottom International. We have a 5-bottom International of about the same era that is in way nicer shape. So we're going to keep that one around for some reason. I don't know why. But we are scrapping this one. So Dad started cutting it, but we ran out of oxygen. So he's going to get more in the morning. And we'll continue on this project. Get this cut up. I think I just sold that bean head for the 9,500. So somebody's probably going to be coming and getting that here in the next couple of days. So we'll have to get that pulled out here soon probably. Or get everything out of the way in front of it. You gotta get the semi started. That probably won't start, but we'll see. So, yeah, not a whole lot went on today. Just a little tidy up stuff here and there, but trying to get some more junk hauled out so that we got some money in our pockets and got some space around here again. But that is it for today. So I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.